Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. It's great to have you on the show once again. Our first guest today is a gentleman who has done brilliant work. He's written a book about #EndSARS. One of the things you will have observed about our culture in Nigeria is we tend to move on very quickly. Things happen and we just move on, and we don't document history, very well. EndSARS movement last year was one of the biggest events of 2020, not just in Nigeria, but globally. The world weighed in on EndSARS. Celebrities all over the world weighed in on EndSARS. It was a massive movement. Outside of COVID-19, for us in Nigeria, perhaps that was the biggest event of 2020. But fortunately, this gentleman took his time, worked very hard on documenting the events of the movement. And he came up with a book titled #EndSARS. In this book, there are pictures, photos, very, very graphical material, and reports. And he interviewed people, tweets, Facebook posts, and all that. He just put everything together just to ensure that years after, anybody who wants to look back to the events of EndSARS can see everything in one material. So let's get to meet with our author and then dig into the interview I had with him. Enjoy this. Uzo, nice to have you on Channels Book Club. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great to have you here. You're looking more like a comrade now these days. Looking good.
Thank you so much, Kunle. I appreciate you.
Great. I should be calling you Dr. Uzo.
Yes.
Okay. So, Dr. Uzo, congrats on your book, #EndSARS. You know what I like about this, your project, is, a lot of things happen to us in our society that, they just happen and we just move on. We have this move on culture. The next big thing, the next big news, comes, and then we move on to that. We have very short memory in Nigeria. Is that a correct assessment?
Yeah. I have this feeling that we are so docile as Nigerians, especially the young people. We don't want to address issues that are affecting us negatively. We prefer to enjoy ourselves. We prefer entertainment, forgetting that if you're not interested in politics, if you're not interested in government policies, they will still affect you whether you like it or not. So I strongly agree with you.
So what your book has done is, or what you have done with your book is an attempt at documenting a very important event in Nigeria's recent history. I mean, the EndSARS event last year, I think October last year, it was incredible. It shook the whole country and attracted international attention, like fewer things have done in recent past. So that's what I love about your book. What inspired it?
Yes, you have said it all. What inspired my writing, putting together this book, is to preserve history, to document history, so that people who will be in government and the coming generation will also have something to look at. We should not just overlook what happened in October last year. Even though some people felt that I was so fast, but at the same time, I saw a lot of information concerning #EndSARS online. And I was also a direct witness of what happened because I protested both in Abuja and in Lagos for several days. So I was on the streets and I saw what happened. And I also felt the pulse of young people who are totally dissatisfied and disillusioned with what is going on. So hashtag NSAS is not only about police brutality and police extorting young people. It's about the impunity that we see in the Nigerian society. It's about unemployment. It reflected the high rate of unemployment in the society. So I had to put this book together. And let me also tell you that the hashtag NSAS problem has not ended. You can see what happened at the Lekki toll gates, where protesters were harassed, where they were dehumanized, where they were arrested, peaceful protesters. So I can assure you that I will still come out with volume 2 because I don't think the government had learned the lessons of what happened last year. They still want to test the young people to know whether they'll be able to resist any attempt to denigrate and destroy our democracy. They don't want dissenting voices. But I'm so very happy and I'm proud of all the young protesters who came out at the Lekki toll gate to say, no, we will not allow Lekki toll gate to be reopened when the judicial panels of inquiries is still going on and they've not made their findings known. So why the hurry? Why the rush?
Also, talking about speed, we'll come back to the, NSAS itself. Talking about the speed at which you produce this, very impressive. You said some people have, some people pointed that out to you, how quickly. This is a fairly large-sized book, 300 and something pages, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And you knocked it together. All this happened in October, but you knocked everything together so quickly. From a writing perspective, how was that for you? I know it's not your first book, but how was that for you, putting the book together so quickly?
Yes, putting it together, being a writer, I've been a writer all my life, and I felt that this is my own modest contribution to Nigeria and to the world at large, so that we will not forget. Like you said, Nigerians like to move on. Let's just not move on. Let's document history. So before 20th of October, I had to bring out, before 20th of December, sorry, I had to publish this book because I spoke with a whole lot of people who were concerned about the situation of things in Nigeria, the situation of the civil service, public servants, how they are handling issues, the politicians, the leaders. And when I told them that I wanted to wait for the findings of the judicial panels of inquiry sets across all the states of Nigeria before writing the book, most of them told me that they wanted the book to come out like tomorrow. And I was really motivated. Yes, that's what they told me. So a lot of people, I sampled opinions before I started writing the book. They told me to hit it immediately. So I had to spend about 1 month working on this book day and night, getting information, doing research. And while I was doing research, I was surprised there was a lot of things I do not know about the hashtag NSAS movement that started coming up. So those were the things that really inspired me, and I felt very delighted that I am making this contribution to the society.
And it's quite interesting. Looking at what you've got in the book, it's quite interesting. You've got photographs. Some of those photographs we saw online, during the heat of the hashtag NSAS activities or events, rather. Some of those interesting photos, epic photos that have become epic now. You will have quite a number of them in your book. You combined tweets, Facebook posts, photographs, testimonials. It's a very graphic book. I like the fact that the book is quite graphic. So it does help to capture the events of that time. Like I said at the beginning, we have this tendency to move on. But with your book, as I was going through it, I was just remembering some of those events of October 2020. As tragic as some of them were, some were also quite exciting and humorous in some other aspects. How did you find that?
It's very intentional. What I did was intentional and deliberate, and detailed. I want the book to be very pictorial. I don't want it to be boring. I want the next generation, or whether the next generation or people who will be in leadership position, or researchers all over the world. Like I have a lot of universities now in America and Europe and Canada. Majority of them are so happy to have copies of this book, and they are making referrals to it. I want them to be able to see it both from the pictorial point of view and see it from the prose point of view. I want them to see different points of narrative, because this hashtag EndSARS was a global phenomenon. You could see that a lot of celebrities were tweeting about it.
Oh,
and there
yeah.
was also solidarity protests. Yes, solidarity protests in several cities in America, in Canada, in Europe, even in South Africa. I was surprised that even in United Arab Emirates, there was also a solidarity protest. So people are tired of impunity. People are tired of police brutality. People are tired of democracy being ridiculed by the leaders. Nigerian youths are finding their voice right now to say, stop, we do not want this. This is how we want it. We are the people. The power rests with the people. So everything I did in that book was very deliberate.
Uzo, what do you make of the accusation that the whole EndSARS movement was sponsored by foreign influences? People are keen on, ramming down the gay movements, down our throats in Nigeria. What do you make of it? That it's politically motivated. The motivation behind it is not pure. It's not genuine. It's not for the good of the country. Well, what's your take?
Well, I was part of the protests, and I will tell you that I came out because I have felt what is going on in the country, and I'm really not satisfied with what is happening in Nigeria as a country. I was on the streets, and I spoke with a whole lot of people. A lot of people came out. Nobody induced them. Nobody gave them money. People were not bribed to come out. There were no leaders. There were no headliners. Both celebrities and people who are ordinary people came out to protest. And when after the first 1 week, a lot of people who are not directly involved felt that people who are on the streets should have medical aids, they should have food to eat, they should be supported in one way or the other. They should also have legal aids. So they began to support people. There was no really any particular coordination from any end. There was no political undertone to it. There was no tribal or religious undertone to it. In fact, this is the best protests that I've ever witnessed in the history of Nigeria. And we also saw it when people also came out, in spite of the threats from the government, in spite of government organizing the entire police force to stop people from protesting at the toll gate. I was shocked because I was in Abuja here and I was wondering whether people would still come out. And people came out, both celebrities and ordinary people who are in obscurity. So all those things they are talking, all those accusations are mere fallacies. They don't hold water for me because I was a direct participant and everybody came out. It came from the soul of Nigerians. Nigerians are tired. There's a whole lot of unemployment. Like I said before, hashtag EndSARS is a direct reflection of the high rate of unemployment and what graduates and non-graduates are passing through in order to get a job. Do you know that Nigerians can no longer secure employment in the civil service without paying money for it? They are being charged as much as 3 million before they can get a job. Employment in Nigeria has been monetized. It has been sexualized. It has become a question of who do you know? If you don't know anybody, if you don't have connection, you cannot get employment. So these are some of the issues that I saw on the streets. And anybody who is trying to give it a political coloration or ethnic coloration or religious coloration, I think the person should better think again, because like we see, like we saw yesterday, it has not ended. People are still very much agitated and angry with what is going on in the country.
Your writing is tending more and more towards, preserving history and culture. When I look at your books, I see that running through, your works. Did I get that right about you?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. You are.
Okay, why is that so?
Well, I don't want to just be one of the passers-by in in history. I want to make history. I want to be remembered for positive contributions. And from the point of being a biographer, I've written a lot of biographies since the last time I was on this program. I think life should not be about me. Life should not be about how well I've lived, the amount of money I have, the material acquisitions I have garnered for myself and for my children. It should be about positive contributions. What have you done to improve the lives of people? What have you done to make people learn lessons of history? So you are very correct. I'm pandering towards historical facts and preserving culture and letting people know that maybe these are the mistakes we made. This is where we got it right. This is where we got it wrong, so that the coming generation can avoid such pitfalls. For instance, I don't expect that in the next 50 years, we should still be 50 or even 10 years, we should still be talking about police brutality or employment selling in Nigeria like it is presently. From 2015 till date, since this current administration came in, this APC government, employment is being sold, both in private and in public service. And I want to also let you know that I'm the convener of Unemployed People of Nigeria. I've also experienced this directly. I've applied to no less than 35 universities in Nigeria, and they were always asking me to bring money, bring
with your PhD,
bring connection. Yes, with a PhD, because I intend to lecture. Apart from being a writer, a successful writer, I want to also lecture. I want to impart knowledge. For these universities, 35 of them in the entire geographical zone of Nigeria, they are telling me the same thing. Employment is being sold. Lecturing is being sold. You go to the federal ministries, in the civil service, in the state civil service commission, in the armed forces, in the police, in the civil defense, name them, DSS. Employment is being sold.
This is very, very, very sad. Very sad to hear. Very sad to hear, Uzo. Very, very sad to hear.
That is the truth.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Dr. Uzo, we've run out of time, unfortunately, and we just have to wrap this up now. Thank you so much. I've had a good time chatting with you, and I hope a lot of people will get copies of your book and read, because it's really exciting and it preserves a lot of our history. Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. Thank you.